and welcome to episode 12 of Nectar Nitty Chats. My name is Bree. This is my corner of YouTube where I talk a little bit about the projects that I'm working on, the projects I want to be working on, all of them knitting related. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining. If you have returned, thanks for coming back. I wanted to do a really quick check-in because I have some finished objects and the holiday season is about to be really busy. So I thought this would be a good time to check in before I do a little bit of holiday traveling and just all of the craziness that comes this time of year. I've got a cup of coffee, some notes ready, and some projects to talk about. So my first one you might have noticed is my finished ranunculus. So this was a project that I made for my mom. I'm gifting it to her this week. As you can see, it is this really pretty, it's called Montemarte, which is French. And I definitely looked up what it meant, but I can't remember. So it is a circular yoke where you do yoke increases, but then towards the end you do raglan increases, which I think is why it has this really nice fit. I did about half to sleeves, which I chose to bind off in an I-cord bind off instead of ribbing because I just thought it had a little bit of a cleaner look. And I did the option for the not as open neckline, and I used a DK weight yarn. So this is Cascade 220, which is a non-superwash DK yarn in, like I said, the color Montemarte, Montemarte. My mom picked it out and it's the heathered one. I mean, it's stunning. When I got this yarn, it's even more beautiful in person than it was on the website. And for a non-superwash, it is incredibly soft. So this is all blocked, all ready to go. I'm hoping that it'll fit. I think it's a little smaller than I was hoping. I'm guessing I did gauge swatch and my swatch I thought was on point, but it fits really nicely in the sleeves, but the sleeves are smaller than I was expecting. So anyway, I love it. Works up super fast. I think if this had been my only project, I probably would have finished it in a week. I mean, each sleeve took a little over a day's worth of knitting. So, you know, I had a lot of knitting time by the end of this project because I had like a weekend where I was chilling. But it works up so fast. So I think it's on US 10 needles. But even so, I was worried it was going to create a really like transparent fabric, but it really hasn't. I mean, and this yarn, I am really, really pleased with it. So I've already told my mom that I may just make one for myself, maybe not in this exact color, although it is definitely tempting because I think it is such a pretty color. But yeah, so that is what I'm wearing, but also my first finished object. So I have one other finished object, and it's a big one. It is my first cardigan. I have been working on this now, which it feels like forever. It's actually been 2 months, so it is all done in all its glory. It is blocked. It is, the ends are all woven in. The one thing that I have not done yet, I am such a procrastinator when it comes to this. I've not sewn on the buttons. I honestly don't ever button my cardigans, and so I like the effective buttons. I think they look really nice, but I never use them from a practical standpoint. So I have worn this cardigan a few times without buttons. I'll put it on real quick. Oops. So here it is. Last time I tried this on, I think I had one sleeve done. I won't look quite as good. Well, this color combination is cute. But yeah, so it fits me pretty nicely. It has a little bit of positive ease for me, but it fits pretty nice. My sleeves, I wish were a smidge longer, but they are totally doable. Like they're good enough to the point that I think I might try and do like another block and really give them a good go, because I didn't do that. I didn't pin them, but they're hitting it about here, which is still, I mean, to be honest, I want them mostly to hit here, so it's not huge, and so I think I could block it to that point. I ended with, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I have it here. Oops. So I have, it's all messed up now, this much yarn left and this much mohair left from the project. So I definitely used most of my yarn. I did end up ordering an entire skein of the sock yarn and not needing it. So now it's fine. Now I just have 100 grams of a sock yarn, which I think I will certainly find use for. I could make a pair of socks. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I love the sleeves. I'll pop some fit pictures of me in it over here. And it is really nice. So this is still in testing. I was size 4. So there was like the first 4 sizes had the earliest deadline. Then the next 4 had an additional 2 weeks. Then the next 4 have an additional 2 weeks, I think, in addition to that. So yeah, it's stunning. I love it. I think the sleeves are perfect. They're dramatic without being too much. And so they're totally wearable. And I love the half fisherman's rib and the double knit button band, and it's very, very fuzzy. Extremely fuzzy. Whenever I wear it, Steve just like, it's like, whoa. So I really like it. It's very, very warm. So I'm going to take it off. And of course there is like mohair everywhere now, because it is so, I wonder if I just shake it, just mohair flies everywhere. But yeah, and it's a little staticky right now, I think, just because of how dry it is with the heat. But yeah, so here's another look. Here's the sleeve. And then it has like a dramatic balloon sleeve decrease and the button band. Oops, that's the back of the cardigan. I'm looking at the button band. The button band, which is just really, really nice. And yeah, it's a great piece. I'm super happy with it. I'm really glad I knit it. The test knitting experience has been awesome. I used Cascade Heritage Sock, which is a traditional kind of sock yarn from them that comes in 100 grain skeins. I think it's 437 yards per skein. So kind of like a classic sock yarn. And then I used Drops Kid Silk in off-white, and the Cascade is in snow. So yes, really, really happy. Feels really good. And I was so just excited to kind of get it off my needles, because I've been working on it for so long, and I was just ready to finish up this, which I finished up pretty soon after I finished the cardigan. I think the next day I finished this sweater. So I was like on a roll. And then after that, I cast on another project. But before I talk about those, I have one. I'm going to talk about my works in progress. So this is, I think, going to be a quick episode, because again, I don't have a ton of time, but I did want to do check-in. But anyway, so finished objects, definitely big on the finished objects. If you have any questions about the Ranunculus or the first cardigan, definitely let me know. The Ranunculus, I will say I definitely made some mistakes on the top of the yoke. Just nothing in terms of like stitch count or anything like that, just some of the techniques that I then realized later on. But my mom is not going to care, and I still think it looks great, so I'm not going to stress about it. But now I know, and if she wants me to make another one, then I'll keep this one, and I'll make her a new one. So, if you have questions about either of those, definitely let me know. I found them both to be really enjoyable knitting experiences, but for totally different reasons, right? This one was fast and fun and tons of changing up, where this one, it feels like sophisticated and it's all about the details, and it was more of a process knit. Of course, I'm really, really happy with the product too, but just two very different. It's like one took me 8 or 9 weeks to knit. I think 9 weeks total. This took me a week. I mean, it's just wild how fast it works up. Definitely recommend the pattern. It's written for, I think lace weight up to worsted weight. You just have to meet gauge, and then depending on what yarn you pick just determines on how translucent or transparent the fabric is. And so I picked a DK because I knew my mom wouldn't want a sheer fabric. Okay, so now what I'm currently working on, so my whips, I have finished a sock. So this is it's the I'm So Basic pattern by Summer Lee Knits. I've only made vanilla socks at this point because I just like them. I think they're fun to knit. On the tiny needles, I don't really have any interest in doing cables or lace. I could see myself maybe doing some slip stitches or something along those lines, but I just am really enjoying knitting like just a classic sock. And so this is a 56 stitch with a double 2x2 rib, or it might be 2x1 rib, 2x1 rib, and then you knit the leg as long as you want, do the heel flap and gusset, and then knit down to the toe and do toe decreases, and then end with Kitchener stitch, which I am pretty happy with my Kitchener stitch on this one. I don't know if it's gonna focus, but probably won't. So this is West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply in the color Pheasant. I picked this up in England at Wool Bath just for a couple bucks. I've been looking for kind of souvenir skeins, and I think socks are going to be my souvenir skeins because you can get a sock yarn, you can get socks out of one skein, and they're small and they travel well. And so every time I wear these, I will think about my England trip. So I'm excited about that. And I just love the self-striping effect and the different colors. I think it's so pretty. It's kind of like a muted rainbow with a gray interspersed. I actually saw more of this yarn at a shop the other day and almost bought more, not of this colorway, but another colorway. But I have a lot of yarn, so I ended up passing it up. And if I end up wanting it, I can always get it pretty easily. So that is one sock down. I probably will not be picking up this second one for a little bit because I'm very, very focused on my next knit. So my next knit, I have been talking about this one for a while. It is the Zipper Sweater Man by Petite Knit. So you can see here's the collar, which is 1x1 rib, nice and stretchy. And then you go into raglan increases. And so this is what you have so far. So I'm pretty close, but I'm not, some stitches fell off. I'm pretty close, but I haven't quite gotten to the point of joining in the round because it is a quarter zip. And so you can kind of see that. So far this is like what the zipper will be. Yeah, so far. And then I'm pretty close, I would say, to getting to the point where I join in the round, and then I will continue to do increases, just not along the sleeves is my understanding. I'm not sure. I guess I shouldn't say too much because it is a paid for pattern. So like I said, this is a zipper sweater man. It's by Petite Knit. I am using this beautiful, I don't know if you can see it. That's pretty good. This beautiful red. It is showing up a little more orangey in the light than I'd like, but it's this gorgeous red. It's Wool of the Andes bulky, and I believe garnet heather, and it's got like really nice color variation in it. It's gorgeous. I'm super, super happy. Now, for a superwash yarn, it is not very soft, which is fine. I think this will make it, I think it's going to be very, very, very warm, which is good. It just means I think it'll be more of kind of like a outerwear garment than I was expecting. But it should definitely be very warm, and I think my dad is going to love the color. And I think so far it's just like working up really well. So you can kind of see. So this is, the zipper will go in here. It looks like I'm wearing a polo, but yeah, so far I'm just super happy with it. I'm knitting the large size because my dad he's got a big frame. Like, he's 6'1", and he is kind of like broad shouldered. So I'm making the large size, and I'm super happy with it. So it's also bulky yarn, which is nice because it works up kind of fast. I picked that one. There is the option to knit a lighter version of it with lighter yarn, but I'll be honest, if I'm going to be knitting a men's large garment, I don't want to be using lighter yarn. It's just already going to be a super time intensive project, so I'm just not going to do that. But like I said, it's a Knit Picks Wool of the Andes bulky and garnet heather. I casted it on maybe a week ago, and the neck ribbing definitely took a while because you knit it and then you fold it over, and so you're knitting a lot of inches of 1x1 rib. But I'm really happy with it, and it's really sturdy, so I think it's gonna hold up really well. I'm just really, really happy with it, and so I'm really hopeful that my dad will like it. I'm gifting this to my mom this week, and then after I finish my dad's project, I have 2 baby blankets that I'll be working on, but I am definitely itching to cast on something for myself. Hold on. Okay, sorry, was just getting a call. So I can't really remember where I was, but basically I am getting all these gift knits out, and it's definitely making me think about, what do I want to cast on for myself next? Because I do love making stuff and gifting them. I get so much pleasure and joy out of making things for the people that I love. Every time Steve wears one of the hats that I made him, which is pretty much every day, a little part of me is just happy that something I did is warming his head. Or my girlfriend called me the other day about how to wash her hat that I made her, or just getting my friend talking to me about how excited they are for their baby to fit into the sweater that I made for them. I just am really just looking forward. I just really look forward to being able to gift these things that I put so much love and care into. And I just am glad that something I made with my hands provides comfort to the loved ones around me. And so I do love gift knitting, but I also love making stuff for myself. So once I'm done with the zipper sweater man, I will cast on a blanket, but I think I will also have another project going for myself. Probably socks, and then probably the second sock of this, right? I am not gonna have second sock syndrome. I like having a sock on the go. It's super easy to just take around with me. So I think, like I said, I'm typically a monogamous knitter. So with the zipper sweater, I'm gonna focus really heavily on that. With the blankets, I'm gonna focus really heavily on that. But I might start something for myself in the meantime. So I am between two projects, and I would be curious if anybody here has opinions, thoughts. One of the projects I've made before, but I gifted it, and the other I have not made before, but it looks amazing, and I've heard a lot about it via the Cascade knitting podcast. So I'll start with the one I've knit before. I test knit the home sweater V-neck for Cadre about a year ago. I think maybe a little less than a year ago. And I loved it. I used Drops Air. Sweater came out beautifully. Gifted it to my mom. My mom loves it. She wears it all the time. It is so comfy and cozy, and definitely a really good one to kind of just wear whenever, but depending on the fiber choice, can be like, you could dress it up a little bit. But it's got a split hem, V-neck, and it's just really comfy. So I will post a picture here of the one that I made, and I have been wanting to make one for myself since I knit one for my mom. And I bought yarn for it a little bit ago when my local yarn shop was having a sale. So I bought this Illimani or Illimani, I don't know, Amelie. And it is in color ZL63. I know, what a beautiful name. But it is this like silver gray color that's speckled. It's coming out a little yellow right now, I think because of my lighting, but it is so soft. So it is 56% mulberry silk, 40% baby alpaca, and 4% merino. So it is crazy, crazy, crazy soft. And I have a sweater quantity of this that I specifically bought to make the home sweater V-neck. So that is like one of the projects I'm strongly considering casting on next is that one. The other project I'm considering casting on next, besides the baby blankets, so this is for me, for Brie, is the Lento sweater, which has been made famous a la Rebecca of the Cascade knitting podcast, because she was looking for sweaters that you could make with hand-dyed yarn that didn't require a ton of yarn, and you can make a sweater out of it, and it wasn't the ranunculus, basically, which is funny because that's what I'm wearing right now. So she found a pattern for the Lento sweater, which I will pop in a picture of it here, which is a really cute pullover. And I think for my size, I need like 700 yards of yarn, and you hold it with mohair. So about a year or two ago, I was at Scrap, which is basically their Goodwill for crafts. People donate craft supplies to them and they resell them, but at a big discount. But it's been great because it keeps so much out of the landfill. So they had one skein of, it's this skein actually, of La Bien Ami. Oh, I didn't even notice that this is Ami and this is Ami. Their hand-dyed mohair in the color Winterfell, which this is actually showing up really well in the lighting. So as you can see, it's this beautiful midnight blue with the silk running through, gives it this like gorgeous shine. So they only had one skein of it, and I was like, what am I gonna do with one skein? That seems crazy. It is 50 grams of it. so 547 yards. And so I then found that they still sell the same color. Now I'm certain it's a different dye lot, but whatever. I'm not that stressed about it. I guess I could alternate skeins, but it seems like a pretty good match. So I bought another skein of it. This I got for $15. The actual retail is $35. So what a steal. I got this for $20 less than it retails for. So I'm going to use these with, this is Sorella's cashmere sock yarn in the color Velvet, which is from their fall tonal collection, their fall collection. And I have 2 skeins of it. And I just think it's so pretty. It's this really deep blue. And so then I think with the lighter color of the yarn really goes with the thread that's kind of running through. It's not showing up anymore, but anyway, I think this is gonna be really pretty. I'm extremely excited about it. I have had this yarn not for too long, but they had released it in their fall colors last year. And oh, that noise is terrible. I'm so sorry. They had released it in their fall colors last year, and I didn't get it. I didn't get any of their fall colors. I was so tempted to, but I didn't. And then this time for their fall collection, I was really hoping they would bring back the same colors because I thought they were so beautiful. And they did, and I was so excited. I'm also excited because there's a winter color that I'm very excited about that I want to get. I think it's called Matterhorn, which is this like beautiful ice blue color. I love blue, can you tell? Surprise, surprise. But anyway, so the Lento would be in that beautiful blue combination, and the home sweater would be in that beautiful gray, kind of speckled. And the theme of this year for me has been, or really for this fall knitting season and kind of going forward, is closet staples. So I just knit a couple staple cardigans that I'm very excited about, that I definitely am going to get a lot of use out of. And so now I'm like, okay, I have a couple sweaters that, well, do I even have that many sweaters? I definitely have a lot of cardigans now, but anyway, that all being said, I'd love a couple sweaters that I could just comfortably throw on, and they just will make my outfit. I wore my Shifty sweater to a party the other day, and I got so many compliments on it, and I just always feel so good when I'm wearing something I made because it's fit for me. I put so much thought and care into it, and it just always makes me feel special. And so I want a couple more sweaters that I can put on and just like feel good in them. So that's what I'm kind of thinking of next, is the home sweater V-neck or the Lento sweater. So if you have thoughts or opinions, I would love to hear them. I'm not sure which one I'm going to cast on at this point. I think either of them will be great. One would be DK weight, one would be, I think, about worsted. To be honest, I think the gauge on them is pretty similar. I haven't looked. So which do you think I should knit? I'm not sure. In my dreams, I had hoped I would have the Lento sweater maybe as a Christmas sweater, but that is definitely not happening because Christmas is coming really soon. And I have to do this zipper sweater for my dad for Christmas. And I think that's going to be, even that is going to be a challenge to get done in time. But I think because it's bulky yarn, I might just do it. We'll see. It's hard to tell because I think knitting the body and the sleeves is actually going to take forever because, like I said, my dad's pretty tall. Anyways, that is all I have today. I am about to leave for a road trip to go down to my family's beach house for the holidays. And then I will be over to Pennsylvania, and then I'll be back to Maryland in Maryland for a few weeks and then back to Pennsylvania for the holidays again. Next weekend, Steve and I are going to a board game convention in Philadelphia, in case anybody is going to be there. It's called PAX Unplugged, because that's something else I like to do in my spare time with Steve is we play board games. And yeah, life is good. So I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I hope you are having a great, cozy afternoon wherever you are. I'd love to hear, what you're working on, if you have a favorite holiday beverage that you've been sipping. I've been drinking a lot of hot chocolate. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Bye.